Now, am I up? All right, so this is where we're going to start today. Music down. This is a road map. Raise your hand if you've ever been lost on the road. Am I by myself, like only half the room? The reason that is because right now we got smartphones and tablets and everything. And they've got these GPS systems with satellites and everything else, so you never lose your way. I came from an era, I'm older than some of you guys, where there wasn't smartphones, there wasn't iPhones and GPS systems and little things that you hook into your car and they hook up to satellites. Remember when you got the map out? And who could never get that map figured out how to fold that thing back? Am I the only one? Like, you can't figure out how to get that. That never goes back right. But you needed a map. And so today, it's the same thing with health. Who knows that there's more information now than there ever has been when it comes to health? Raise your hand if you know that. There's more information everywhere. But the problem is, what it means is there's more routes to everywhere. If there's routes everywhere, the problem is a lot of those routes are not the right route. They're not the right route for you, and they end up in a dead end. And so we want to give you the map. Also, know that everybody here is starting out at a different point, and that's okay. But if I can give you the roadmap for you, then guess what you'll get? Results. And I had a lot of you guys come today, and I wanted you to get an idea of what you wanted for results, what you wanted in the end of a month from now. So just so you know, today's not the day. So everybody say, today's not the day. Today is not the day. Today is the start of a month-long makeover. Today I want you to get inspired. I want you to get encouraged. I want you to get equipped so that you leave and you have all the right turns, lefts and rights and forwards for the roadmap. Now, just so you know as well, this is the roadmap. You guys are going to have a book that's called Cruise Ship or Nursing Home. I love the title. You make a decision, every decision you make, whether which one you're going to go to. You're going to go to the cruise ship or you're going to go to the nursing home. And it's a decision. If you're a patient in the office, if you're a patient, raise your hand. If you're a patient, awesome. If you're a patient, you have this book. This is a resource guide. This is your ticket, basically, to your roadmap. And I'm going to help you with it. If you're a guest here and you don't have the book, we have books here. We'll make sure that you get it before you leave. Got it? Okay, so what we're going to go through. Now, not every route is what's needed for everybody. So at the end of today, make sure you don't leave early. At the very end, Dr. Kimberly is going to go through your different options as far as maps to get to your result, what you want as far as either weight loss. Some of you guys don't need to lose weight. Some of you guys need to gain muscle, gain weight. Some of you guys just need to get off medications or feel better or get less inflammation for your joints or whatever it is. So whatever that is, what that end point is, we want to give you that roadmap. So that'll be at the end today. Does that make sense? Got it? You with me? All right, so let's get into some meat of this thing. Now, this is awesome. they didn't know I was going to show the picture, but Dracopoulos, everybody say hi, Dracopoulos. Come on, say hi, Dracopoulos. Right there. So that's Gus and Valda. Gus and Valda came in. They're patients in the office. This is where they started. Right or left, which people are healthier? Yeah, so right. These people are on lots of meds. So what I'm telling you is what we're going to do today gets results. I think it would be beneficial for you to know that right now there are over 450 offices doing this right here at the same time. We have tens of thousands of people doing exactly what you're doing right now. They're getting crazy. They're going against a cray team of their own. They're getting T-shirts bounced off their foreheads. It's a spectacular day. Now watch this. Not only is there tens of thousands doing it, in the last several years we've had hundreds of thousands of people go through this. And now as a result, tens of thousands of pounds lost. Can you imagine, we would probably put, if everybody that's gotten off medications from this one thing were all together, we would put several Walgreens completely out of business. Can I get a round of applause for that? No offense to Walgreens. That's what today's about. It's about getting healthy. Now, some of you guys came to lose weight. We're going to have a slant towards that today, so I want to really get there with you. But it's about getting what? Getting healthy. It's about getting healthy. So if you're healthy, this just tends to happen. Now, I'm all about results, but here's the other thing. As crazy as I am, I also need to be encouraged. Just so you know, I get discouraged just like everybody else, even though I try not to let that show because you didn't come in to listen to me whine at your adjustment or whatever else. But I need to be encouraged. So when you guys get results and you come in and go, hey, I'm off of medication, guess who it encourages? Encourages me. And because it happens so often during the day, it looks like I've drank, too much Starbucks constantly. I'm like, oh, it's so good to see you, right? And I'm hugging everybody. But the reason is because I'm constantly encouraged. I tell you one thing, that there was a couple who really, really encouraged me not too long ago, and I wanted them to encourage you. So I want you to come up here, right here. This is Martha and Robin Lawrence. Come on up here. So get on up here. There you go. Give a round of applause. Awesome. So I want you to hear this because it's going to encourage you too. So Martha and Robin came in. They'd been in another ML office. They came here. Before even any ML office, I want you to tell them kind of what you were experiencing.
Extremely overweight. I was on drugs, and they kept upping the dose for I'm nervous.
It's all right. Give her some love. Give her some love.
For anxiety and depression. And they just kept, I was like a slug. I couldn't do anything, right? Yeah.
This is when you want to say, I don't know what you're talking about, honey.
I could barely walk. He was trying to get me to walk, and I got that plantar fasciitis. My feet were a mess. Having horrible migraines, the kind where you want to kill yourself because the pain's so bad. And I didn't want to live like that anymore. And we ran into Dr. Jason Weiss at our church. He was given a weight loss class, and so I went and didn't know anything about chiropractic. And we went because he had spinal damage from Army days, and it changed our lives for both of us.
And then once you went, what did you see?
Oh, dear. Happy people.
Then you started losing weight?
Well, no, actually, I only lost 10 pounds with him. While I was with him, I got off all the drugs. I really pushed for the no toxic and the mind part. And when we came here, I started on that diet, and it just melted off. We started in March, and by Christmas, I had lost probably 55 pounds.
And how much have you lost total now?
60.
60 pounds. Yeah, get an amen.
You don't have my fat picture?
No, wait, I do. Wait, where's it at? So this, just so you know, this is before and after. How about that? So a big round of applause. Thank you, guys. Awesome. So here's the point. My thing is, if she can do it, I can do it. That's the way that I feel. Like if I see anybody that's done something, someone's climbed a mountain, if that person can do it, then I can do it, right? So it encourages me. So what I want you to be thinking as we go through today, if somebody can do that, I can do that. So if she can do that, if she can do it, if she can do it, and wait a second. Let's do a little competition. This versus this versus this. If she can do it, if she can do it, if she can do it, it's a pretty good side right there. It's a good warm-up, actually, I think, as we crescendoed up right there. There may be prizes for this end of the room. All right, so is everybody encouraged about that? I'm encouraged. You should be encouraged. If she can do it, I can do it. Perfect. All right, so let's get into the meat. This slide right here, this will make your cheese slide off your cracker. This is upsetting to me in so many levels. We are number one in obesity in the entire world. Now, I don't say that to make fun. It's not a funny thing at all. It's not a funny ha-ha. What this means, this is not overweight. This is obese. Does everybody know the difference in that? Obese is a whole different ballgame, okay? Obesity. We're 36% of the people that live in this wonderful, God-blessed, red, white, and blue, the home of the brave, full of freedom, United States is now the fattest, most obese, diseased, sickest country on the face of planet Earth. And if that doesn't make you want to weep in your chair, then something is wrong. The country we live in, the red, white, and blue, that's what's happened to us. Why are we the most sedentary, diseased, sick country in the world? It's because things are propagated here as information that are not even close to true. Raise your hand if you've been frustrated by all this measles propaganda on the news right now. Oh, you got to get your measles shot. Oh my gosh, you're going to die unless you get 3 shots or something, right? Which is absolute hogwash, okay? But what does this lead? What this means is, this right here means, watch this. 60% of children, 15 or young adults, 15 to 19, already have major plaquing in their arteries. That's what that means. It means every 34 seconds, someone drops dead of a heart attack. Every 25 seconds, someone's diagnosed with cancer, and every 57 seconds, someone dies of it. Right? Do you know if you just went up a skirt size, or guys, a belt loop size, that it increases every type of cancer chance in your lifetime right now if you increase that. Right? That's what this means. And that's why we're the sickest. Did everybody understand that? But just look at another disease like diabetes, okay? Diabetes. 25 million Americans have diabetes. 1 in 3 have pre-diabetes or diabetes, and 25% of that don't even know they have it. You start looking at world numbers, 346 million people. Millions of people dying of that. And listen, it's supposed to get twice as bad by 2030 if nothing changes. So at some point in time, looking at the way things are in your neighborhood, in this town, in this room even, but in the United States that we all live in and love and praise God that we get to live here, somebody else said, that's it, there's the line, it's not going to happen anymore, and it starts with me, right? So today could be the day, today is the day. Does everybody understand? Today's the day that it starts to change, because if you change, guess who else starts to change? Everybody what? Everybody around you starts to change. You want to change the world, start with who? Start with yourself. Start with me. Exactly. So that's what we have to do. But one thing that propagates more than anything else is this idea that this runs in my family. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. This runs in my family. When I sit down with patients all day long, guess what I hear? Yeah, no, I got allergies. It what? Runs in my family. No, I got high blood pressure. It. No, so they're taking it precancerous because cancer, it runs in my family. Let me tell you something. If I live a wonderful life and I'm successful in several ways, one of the ways I will be is I will destroy this mindset in every single person. Because if you believe that, then you're officially a victim. And you're not a victim, you're a victor. And if I do anything great today, it's we overcome that completely. And we spent billions of dollars with the Clinton administration disproving the genetic theory of disease. It's less than 2% even matters at all. And most of the time, the diseases that travel on like that genetically are stuff like Down syndrome and things like this. Does that make sense? It's not cancer, it's not heart disease, it's not diabetes, certainly not allergies or back problems or eyesight issues. I had someone come in with eyesight issues. Well, it runs in my family. No, it doesn't run in your family, right? What we know now is there's a propensity, but there's something else that's higher than that. Okay, watch this. Awesome study. See that big fat yellow mouse? It's called an agouti mouse, okay? And it's got an agouti gene. And agouti mice die 40% sooner than any other mice. They got degenerative arthritis, cancer, heart disease, obesity. These are just sick mice, right? They got a bad gene, right? And they eat like all the other mice, and this is what happens to them. What they did was they took 2 fat mice, and they got them all happy together, a guy and a girl. And guess what they did? They got a cat. No, they didn't get a cat. That was awesome, by the way. I couldn't even write that. Make sure that gets into the film. But what they did was they gave the mom real nutrition. So basically they changed the lifestyle of this mouse. I checked it, just like that stuff I'm going to give you today. What they found was the offspring that this mom now had all look like this. That brown one is her baby. And guess what? Just by changing her lifestyle, that baby doesn't die 40% sooner than all the other mice, doesn't have degenerative diseases, cancers, heart disease, tumors, arthritis, all these things. It's a perfectly healthy mice, just like the other ones. And it still has the what? The gene in it for the agouti gene. What it means is your genes do not rule your fate. Your choice trumps your genetics. And guess who's responsible for your choice? Raise your hand and say, I am. I am. You're responsible for that choice. But here's the thing. If you understand that and you take a hold of that, guess what? It means you're not a victim, you're a victor. So genetics, absolutely. But that's not what you hear. That's not what you hear out there. What you hear is Angelina Jolie, and bless her heart. Listen, and I have nothing against her. But you've got a propagation of propaganda that says, hey, listen, bad BACR, so the genetics test, right? So 87% likely she's going to have cancer, which is absolutely false, 100%. And so you start talking people into cutting off body parts to keep from having cancer. When a society starts cutting body parts off to keep from even having cancer, which, by the way, if you look at BACR and genetic testing, it's a 6 to 8% chance that if you're a woman that you'll have breast cancer. If you have a positive genetic test, it's between 6 and 10%. Let that soak in for just a second. Almost no different, but now I'll talk all the ladies into it because now I've talked everybody into the thing that's 87% more likely. But it's not. The American Cancer Society on their website says that there's something higher, more likelihood, and more in common that people have, even more than genetics. What could you and your family have more in common than genetics? Guess what it is? Your lifestyle. You're living in the same place, you're eating the same foods, you're in the same house, you're in the same mold or not mold, the same cleanliness or dirtiness, the same stress environment, the same situations and happenings and life circumstances happening to you that everybody else does. And so guess what? It's not your genetics. Guess what it is? It's lifestyle and your choices. And that you can change. Does that make sense? Is that good news? Can I get a good news? So any Canadians in the house? Raise your hand if you're Canadian. Come on. No Canadians. So a little bit about my wife raised her hand. So we're going to talk about your geese, babe. So geese. So Canadian geese. Every winter, geese fly where for the winter? They fly south. And so then they'll come back. And then the wintertime, they'll fly where again? They'll fly... Well, in the wintertime again, once they're back up there, they'll fly south. And next year, the wintertime, they'll fly again south. And next time, they'll fly south. Every time the winter comes, it's imprinted to them. They have to fly south for the winter. It's just an imprinted thing. That's what animals do, especially the ones that migrate like that. In the south, they're going to... Watch this. What if it was better for them just to stay put one year? Guess what they'll still do? They'll still fly where? South. What if it's better on the west coast than the east coast? They'll still fly where? South, because that's what they have to do. Human beings are the only life form on this planet Earth that has a frontal lobe that makes decisions like we do, which means this. You can live 50, 60, 70 years and in an instant make a decision to live a completely another way, and you can do that. Can I get a round of applause for that? So here's the good news. You are not a goose. So everybody say, I'm not a goose. You can make a decision to do something today. Listen, today's the day where, you know what, if all your family, if you're a woman, your mother and your aunts and your grandmother and all the rest, they all had this, that, and the other disease, this is where it stops. If you're a guy and like your father and your uncles, your grandfathers, they all died of heart disease or whatever it is, guess what? Today's the day that it what? That it stops, because you're not a goose. You don't have to keep flying south and make the same decisions that they did. Is that good news? So let's talk about it. So today we're going to take advantage of what we now know to be the most factual, up-to-date, scientific, cutting-edge information, revelation, if you will, in losing weight. Because it's not necessarily about counting calories or those things. Can I get an amen for not counting calories? Anybody? Yeah. Woo, man. It's like, I thought Dr. Dave was going to talk about cutting calories today. Not cutting calories. We're going to use hormones and the science behind it. Several things. We're going to talk about insulin and leptin and the hormones that are related to it, like cortisol, stress hormones. Insulin is your fat-building hormone. Say fat building. Fat building. And leptin is the fat burning. Say fat burning. Fat burning. So insulin makes this. This is 5 pounds of fat. So that's about what that looks like right there. Or right there. Right there. This is 5 pounds of fat. Insulin makes this, and guess what? Leptin burns this. That's what we want. Who wants more leptin? Yeah, me too. Lord, keep the car, but if you could just bring me more leptin, that would be awesome. So that's what we want. We want more leptin. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. This is part of, again, the roadmap. The roadmap comes from the book. That's this book right here, Cruise Shipper Nursing Home. It's page 99 is your, if you're writing notes, it's page 99. If you have your book, ear tag it, right? So it's dog ear it. It's page 99 in the book. But we're going to go through how you can succeed in this, and we're going to equip you. We're going to have events. This day starts, but we're going to have this for a month. What it means is during this month, there's going to be weigh-ins. We have a Tanita machine that costs thousands and thousands of dollars. It costs more than my first 2 cars combined. And yet, guess what? If you went to the doctor to get a Tanita, it cost you about $200. It's included in the price of your ticket today to weigh in every single week. I want you to weigh in. Also, we're going to do classes. We're going to do shopping nights. We're going to do, that's included in the price of the ticket. We're going to take you to the grocery store. Raise your hand if you've ever had a doctor other than this office take you to the grocery store and go shopping and show you how to do that. Anybody? Maybe one? Yes? Yeah, that was me. So, but how about this? We're going to have a recipe night. So we all come in and do recipes. So we actually know what it's like to actually get good nutrition in that's fat burning and health bringing and all the rest. All of this. Also, what about physical? Raise your hand if you'd like a physical trainer for the next month. Raise your hand if you'd like a physical trainer to whip you in shape. Anybody? People are like, wait a second, some of you guys didn't raise your hand because you know that I'm actually leading part of this. You're like, yeah, no, Dr. David's part of that. I'm probably not going to be part of that there. No, but you get a physical, listen, 4 days a week, if you're not with Coach Todd or something else, once you're doing something, then guess what? 4 days a week you can be in the office. Doesn't cost you a dime. Got it? It's included in the price of the ticket today. Is that cool? Amen on that. Takes a whole team to do that, not just me. So that's all part of today. These are the 5 essentials. If you're a guest, this is what we teach. This is what changed my life. It's what's changed 630,000 people a week now get adjusted through Maximize Living offices. The amount of testimonies just from accepting these things and running with this and being equipped is absolutely overwhelming. It's so amazing. And I'll talk about some of those today. All right, but let's start. If you have your book, you would turn to page 106. Who's seen a BMI chart? Now, I have a lot of you guys go, body mass index, and you're like, oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe in that. It's not accurate. Well, guess what? Whether you believe in BMI or not, guess what's 100% accurate? What the stats are for what people with disease, what their BMIs are. So let me put it this way. If your BMI is over 30, compared to the 23 you see behind me, then you're 3 times as likely to die of coronary artery disease, twice as likely to get colon cancer, 3 times as likely to get endometrial cancer, and guess what? You're 4 times as likely to have gallbladder disease and have that removed. But here's the most important part. If it's over 30, it's not just being big, it's just hard on you. Guess what? It's 4 times as likely that your knees and joints will completely dissolve, just turn to mush and degenerative arthritis, and you'll have to have a knee or hip replacement. How about that? 4 times as likely. And do you know what? The United States, we spent $17 billion last year alone on just replacing knees and hips. $17 billion. Did you get that? Who would like to not spend $17 billion? I don't want to spend, especially on something that is preventable like that. So that's what we're going to do. So BMI, I want you to make sure you check out your BMI. Some of you guys are going to not like it very much. And guess what? That's okay. I want to get you comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Part of it is some of you guys have been way too comfortable in the position that you're in, and it's not a good place. And we need to get you out of that. Got it? Okay? So let's start with this. Big Y. Now, everybody needs something to write on. Get something to write on. If you don't have something to write on, you better get something. Get it. Move it around. Okay, as you're doing that, let me discuss it. It could be your phone. Doesn't have to be a piece of paper. We're in a digital age now. Now, once you're there, I think most people, you got a writing utensil or you got your phone in one hand. Now, what I want you to do is I want to take your empty hand. I want you to just face me with your empty hand. Just go like this. Let me see that empty hand. Now, take your empty hand, and I want you to reach around by your waist, and I want you to grab right here. I got something. No, wait. I want you to do it. Now, listen, don't anybody look at your neighbor. Everybody look up. Go like this. Some of you are like, I'm not doing that. Yes, you are. Like this. Now, if you do that, just kind of move it around a little bit. All right. Good. All right. Now let go. Now, let me tell you something. As uncomfortable and as upsetting as that is, that's not enough to make you do what needs to be done in the next month. If it was, you'd already done it. You losing weight and coming in here wanting to lose weight is not enough for you to get results. Let me be very clear, okay? You need to write down a why that you're doing this. I'm going to describe mine for you here in just a minute. Some of you guys know my story. I was supposed to die with heart disease. I had an irreversible medical condition, and my heart was dying in my chest. I know what it feels like to be tired. I know what it feels like to be prescribed medications. I know what it feels like to be stuck in a blind-in, no-way-out situation and not know what you're going to do. I know what it feels like, and God saved me from that. But I can tell you the why I still do what it takes to be healthy is because of the hero that I had when I was 10 years old. Some of you guys heard this. I told it one time in the office this week. I have my grandfather. He's passed now, but when I was 10, he was my hero. And I have a twin brother. My twin brother and I looked up. This is a mountain of a man. He was a championship boxer in the Air Force. He like literally nobody could beat him in the entire United States. His fist looked like both of mine together. He was 6'4". Even when he was older, he just still stayed huge. He was just rock solid, and he was a leader, man. Let me tell you, you either hated him or you liked him, but it wasn't in between. Like he was very strict and direct, and I was kind of afraid of him, but he was my hero. Anybody have a hero? You know what I'm talking about? He was my hero. When I was 10, he was diagnosed with colon cancer, and he didn't want anybody around him, right? He didn't want people to see him that way. And I'd never been to the VA hospital in Muskogee, Oklahoma, except for one time. And it was when he was in, we knew it was going to be towards the end. And he was in a hospital room in the front of the hospital. I'll never forget it. It's a U-shaped hospital, and there's a big field of grass with a big, long sidewalk going up to the front doors. And he was in the 4th story on this side right here. And my dad wanted to spend time with him. And my twin brother and I had to leave the room. Well, it's December. There's 5 inches of snow outside. We're going to go out and play in the snow. But we're so upset that our hero is gray, and he's lost 60 pounds. It looked, in my mind at the time, I remember thinking it's almost like Superman was exposed to kryptonite, and I just wanted it to be back to the way it was again. And the only thing I could think of was, how can I let him know, because I can't get to him. All I did was kiss him and had to leave the room. How can we let him know that I love him? And so my brother and I spent 2 hours in freezing cold outside making the biggest snowman we possibly could, which we thought was like 15 feet high. It was like 7 probably, hoping he could see it from the window. And every single day that I wake up, I've never wanted to get up at 4:30 to go work out in the morning, right? Todd's with me, and he knows exactly what that looks like on my face. I've never wanted to get up in the morning. Listen, sometimes I just want to go completely off the rails, but I make decisions because I never want my children, 15, 12, and 4, to ever have to look at their hero, their dad, the way that I saw my grandfather. That's a why. Do you understand that? That's a why. Not this. That's not a why. Me getting up in the morning to make sure my kids have a dad that's powerful, that can move mountains for them, that's a why. So I want you to take a minute, just 60 seconds, and you need to write something down. If you leave here without that today, I'll say every bit of research. I'll get you so inspired, but guess what? You will leave without it. So Maestro, if you would, maybe a little bit of music, because we're going to spend 60 seconds. If you're not writing, I'm watching you. So we have a bouncer. We'll be ejecting you. No, I'm just kidding. So do we have Zach to put some music on? Good. He's trying to do that now. So take a little time. Good. And then, Wes, if you would, when it's 60 seconds, just drop that down. I don't have a watch up here. It's a big why. Why do I get up in the morning? What's bigger than me? Could be kids. Could be your church. Could be wherever you volunteer. Could be a purpose that you've stated that you have to be here still. Some of you guys have lost your fight. Some of you guys lost your tooth and nail, and you need to find it again. I think that needs to be today. Some of you guys need to be red hot again. All right, good. Now listen, I want you to develop that a little bit more today. Raise your hand if you feel like you got somewhat of a why. You wrote something down. Just raise your hand if you wrote something down. Good. That's what I want. Listen, that is what will take you through this month. Got it? Because guess what? Who knows that life happens? Can I get an amen? Amen. Life happens, and guess what? Something's going to happen, and you're going to be up 2 hours longer than you thought, and you said you were going to get up the next morning and go work out, and now you're going to be tired, and now you're going to go, you know what, I should probably sleep in, and you're going to talk to yourself, and you go, it'd be better for me health-wise to stay in bed and get to sleep, and guess what? The commitment that you made means that I'm going to get up because the why is bigger than me wanting to sleep. Can I get an amen? Amen. That's the big why, okay? So now, let's say you've been lied to. You've been lied to! Oh, no. Say, you've been lied to! You've been lied to! Say, you've been lied to! Listen, you've been told that getting on a treadmill or going for a walk or keeping your heart rate up for 45 minutes in a fat-burning zone, that's the best way to lose weight. And guess what? That's a lie. Everybody say, that's a lie. That's a down dog, dirty lie. That's a lie. It's not true. The truth is weight loss is about hormones. Everybody say hormones. Right, so leptin and insulin and cortisol, stress hormones, that's where it's at today. And I'm going to go through that and when we start getting into some of the other things for food additives and these things, but it's all about hormones. Also, you've been lied to. It's not about just the scale, right? Everybody look at that cartoon right there. I love that. I thought about you, by the way, just so you know, even though you're young and skinny. But this is pretty fun. But listen, I like when we lose weight, but oftentimes we have people that get discouraged because the scale's not showing, and yet it's not necessarily about that. It's about what? It's about a body comp. Some of you guys don't need to lose any weight. Some of you guys need to increase your muscle mass, and that's why you're here today. Does it make sense? So I want to see a better and better body comp, right? I just love that cartoon. The mindset, so let's get into some nutrition. Here's the mindset. Not live to eat, but eat to live. Not live to eat, but eat to live. That's what you need to do. Look for whole, nutrient-dense foods. Do you know if you take one bowl of spinach, it takes 14 bowls of the average cereal to equal one density of nutrition in spinach, a bowl of spinach. Did you get that? 14 bowls. I'm not hungry enough to eat 14 bowls, okay? So you need nutrient-dense foods. Also, you want to avoid toxins. So that's why we got Salad Master here. So avoiding, everybody way back there, Salad Master. Hi, Salad Master. There you go. So avoiding toxins. That's not just that. That's like your shampoos and deodorants and cleaners and all the rest, the stuff in the food. So avoiding toxins. Here's the other thing too. I have people go, well, listen, if I go off track on my diet, I'll just exercise a little bit more. That's a lie from the devil. There's no way to exercise off poor nutrition. And let me tell you something. You think you get away with it, but you don't. Just because you don't gain weight or you lose the weight that you gained through Christmas doesn't mean that you got rid of it. The metabolic damage that's done oftentimes is permanent unless you completely change your choices. Does that make sense? You cannot exercise off poor nutrition. Everybody should remember that. Now, focus on quality over quantity. No more counting calories. Let me give you something else that's kind of cool. If you had a handful of almonds, let me prove this to you. This is why people say, well, listen, I had somebody I was looking to hire the other day, and they came in, I was introducing them, and they were blown away by all these testimonies. I go, listen, this lady lost 85 pounds. And he's like, awesome, what did you do? Did you just by counting calories? And I went, ooh, he doesn't know anything about maximized living. And she goes, nope. She goes, 5 essentials, which is awesome that one of you schooled another doctor. Keep that up. But the point is, it's not the calories, it's the type, it's the quantity, it's the density of nutrition. Like if you take a handful of almonds, it's 150 calories. But who here knows that 150 calories worth of almonds and one Twinkie that's 150 calories probably have something to do differently inside of your body that deals with weight? Anybody? Anybody think you need a double-blind study or a rocket scientist to explain that to you? A Twinkie and a bunch of almonds does something different on the inside of you. It's not counting calories. Don't count calories. Leave the calories out. Don't even look at the calories. It's the density of the food, the nutrition in there. Most of you guys are malnutrient even if you're eating too much. And so it's the actual food. Does it make sense? Okay, so no counting calories. I'm going to show you this if you would. Let's put the lights down on this. I want you to see this. This is a film that's going to show you. It's a rewinding, if you will.
All right, what do we got?
Up volume.
Just came in. Heart attack. 5'9", 300 pounds, 32 years old.
How the hell does that happen?
Can I get a,
Could be developing diabetes. Chance makes change. Oh, yeah.
You're graduating! Watch TV. You won't even have to leave.
You can't do this.
Yes, can I get a...
yeah, no, deep dish?
You have to make a change. Good job, Jim. You got an A+.
There are your fries, sweetie.
I still can't believe you get this child essentials.
I know. But it's the only thing that'll make him stop.
Wow. Okay, whoever's watching the football game, you can turn that off. Hey, but listen, I played that video for a reason. Yeah, it's about childhood nutrition. Atlanta did that one. But let me tell you something. It's about starting right now, right? Just because the world says you have to have a big old diabetes cake with candles on it, right, at your birthday, doesn't mean you got to do that. Just because your teachers give suckers and candy at school doesn't mean your kids have to participate. Right? Talk to my kids. They feel like freaks half the time because they're bringing salads to school and whatever else, right? But in the sickest country in the world, raise your hand if you know it's good to be a freak, right? It's time to make a change. So let's go through some nutritional stuff. These are the 4 core changes. And basically, we're going to go through this. I'm not going to go through this deeply. This is in your book. Today's not the day. Say, today's not the day. Today's the start of your makeover. You're going to open up your roadmap and you're going to find it yourself. Because if I give you everything, then you just can sit back and go like this. You'll only get change if you take actions yourself. So let me briefly go through this. You want to fix your fats. So the reason that so many of you guys have such a bad time, and literally as you age, you just keep on gaining weight, is because you keep getting more and more bad fats in. Right? And bad fats, if you were here last makeover, you saw me take Steve and I wrapped him up with saran wrap, so he was completely wrapped up in cellophane like this. And bad fats do that to the cell wall. So you can't get good stuff in or bad stuff, good stuff in or bad stuff out. And as a result of that, you become basically toxic and heavier and your hormones don't work. That's basically why. So you got to fix the fat. So get rid of the bad, add the good. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Perfect your proteins. Listen. If you want to spend money on your food, listen, you don't have to buy organic fruits and vegetables. If you're going to spend the money, put it on the meats, because it takes 8 pounds of chemically sprayed grain to raise 1 pound of general meat, right, from chicken or beef or whatever else, or pork or whatever else. So you want to have naturally raised, organic if you can, no hormone meat. If you can't, then fine, do the best you can. But if you want to put your money in something, put it in meat. That's why we also have the perfect protein and stuff like this. Curb your carbs. There's something called thermogenic effect, and I don't get too scientific, but what it means is simple carbs like bread, pasta, wheat, rice, potatoes, things like this, whole cut grains, even stuff that's whole food, because it's a simple carb, it doesn't take any energy for your body to digest it, and it goes right into your cells, and they create cells like this, okay? right? So we want to curb your carbs because getting simple carbs causes you to crave more of them. Does that make sense? So you want to curb them. Now, that's not easily necessary. A bunch of my team went through the Kickstart cleanse that we're going to show you how to do. And that first 3, 4, 5, 6 days, you can be a little grumpy. Who's gone through the advanced plan the first week? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Spouses are like, you better raise your hand on that right there. Yeah, I've had spouses almost kill each other over a piece of bread. They're like, I will punch you in the face for a piece of toast. But it's just because you're trying to curb those carbs, and it's like an addict, right? Just so you know. So you got to curb the carbs. You got to trash the toxins, whether it's what you cook in, it's why we wanted the Salad Master people here, or it's what's in your food. You know, if you've got 27-letter words in your food on the ingredients list, you shouldn't eat it. Are you with me? If you can't even pronounce it, you probably shouldn't put it in there. 5 keys to weight loss, okay? How many keys? 5 keys to weight loss. This is the advanced plan. First thing you're going to do is you're going to eliminate sugars. Everybody go, oh. Yeah, you knew it was coming. Even before, that's why you didn't want to come today. You're like, he's going to tell us not to eat sugar. Guess what? You're right. Here it is. We've arrived. Don't eat sugar. Got it? So you're going to curb those because they're simple carbs. You got to curb it. And it will create carb desires in you, right? So you got to eliminate sugars, but also you got to eliminate everything that turns to sugar. Because as soon as you take out sugar, then that's why kids start like sucking on pieces of bread or saltine crackers. Those things turn to sugar in your mouth through the amylase in your mouth in 4 seconds. That's why kids love to eat crackers and carb things. But you want to get rid of anything that turns to sugar. That's what grains are. They turn to sugar, which includes your steel-cut oatmeal in the morning, just so you know. Everybody go, oh. Yeah, so that's it. That's all right. But remove bad fats and add good fats. Lots of good research in showing that if you add good fats and get rid of all the bad fats, guess what happens to your weight? You start to what? So can I get an amen about eating more fat and losing weight? Can I get an amen? Anybody? Amen? Right? Awesome. Now, eat very little fruit, because if I take grains out and I take sugar out, then some of you guys will go to Costco today, which we want you to, right? Go to Costco. But you'll go in there and you buy like a 10-pound thing of strawberries and go, this is fruit. This is healthy for you. And you'll sit and eat the whole thing, 10 pounds of strawberries right there. Because you're craving and you need something to figure out that sugar craving. Got it? But it says eat little fruit. So we want to stay towards berries, and we don't want to do more than a half a cup to a cup at a time. Got it? Okay? Also, avoid toxins. And we talked about that a bit, and I'll get that in a little bit more. But all this is in your what? It's all in your book, so go through it. Okay? All right, you've been lied to. Say, I've been lied to. When it comes to losing weight, anything that says low fat, no fat, or diet is absolutely the wrong thing to go with, right? If it says low fat, it usually means high sugar. If it says no fat, it means probably really high sugar. If it says diet, you better stay away from it because it should have skull and crossbones on it, right? This stuff is bad. It is bad news. It is just terrible for you. The nutrition is absolutely terrible. Let me see. Next slide. Fat. I love this because I love butter. I love when Time Magazine put it on the front of the cover that said, eat butter. I mean, I bought it and went, hey, baby, check it out. Ah, right there. Bam. Eat butter. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys for 2 decades. Eat butter. Now, not margarine, but real butter because it's got real fats. Margarine is completely ruined fats. You put margarine on a plate, throw it outside for the ants. Put a slab of butter and a slab of margarine. The ants are smart enough to not even touch it, but they'll get all up in that butter. If ants won't touch it, really? Come on, ant, right? But listen, when they started this in the 60s and 70s, basically heart attacks and heart disease and cancer went through the roof. You decrease your fat intake, especially the stuff like saturated fats, which aren't bad, which are good. You decrease that, your disease rates go through the roof, including your arthritises. It's actually a protective mechanism. God made it. You're supposed to have it, so eat it. Got it? Good. All right. Now, the problem with it is everybody knows we should avoid trans fats. But let me give you a little bit. I'm going to go through a little bit of this later on. But this right here is why trans fats are so elusive. They made a change about 9 years ago, don't quote me, somewhere in there, that they said we don't want trans fats in anything because it's so dangerous, right? But they snuck one in on us in the law just at the very end when they passed it that said if you have a certain amount of trans fats per serving and it's low enough, then you can say it has 0 trans fats in it. But guess what they did? Jiffy, which had about 12 or 14, I don't remember what it was, 12 or 14 servings in this thing, just changed this to 35 servings, and now they can say 0 trans fats. So it's the same thing. It's chock full of trans fats that's ruining your cell membrane, causing you to gain weight, develop cancer, ADHD in your kids, allergies, degenerative arthritis, degenerative diseases, and yet they can say, doesn't have it in there. So you can't always believe that. So I want you to know this before we get into the other. So bad fats versus good. Again, this is in your book. You don't have to start writing this down. It's in your what? It's in your book. So bad fats. It's the hydrogenated. It's cottonseed, soybean, vegetable oils, margarine, synthetic butters, canola oil, right? Can anybody show me a canola plant? There's no such thing as a canola plant. Now, they're bringing shakes down there. Everybody, I want you to grab one of these shakes. Now, it has some berries in it. This is the good fats. We want you to try good fats. Most of you guys go, well, I don't know. It probably doesn't taste very good. Some of you guys have never tried this. So they've made some shakes. We put together some shakes. This has the perfect protein in it. But it's also got something else, and I want to show you this. This is the recipe, okay? So it's got unsweetened coconut oil. So everybody say unsweetened. Unsweetened coconut oil, which is a good fat. Frozen mixed berries. Handful of spinach and some perfect protein. Now, why the spinach? Now, listen to this. This is cool. Lund University from Switzerland, check this out, did a study that showed that if you ate spinach, that it actually caused a 43% increase in weight loss and a 95% decrease in carb cravings. Raise your hand if you'd like to not have that carb craving, if you know what I'm talking about. But it's because there's something called I'm going to mess it up. Thicolloid, I think it's the thicolloid is the ingredient in spinach that actually causes a decrease in carb desire. And so you want to eat spinach. This is a fat-burning smoothie because it's going to do just that. It's going to stimulate metabolism. It's going to stimulate your metabolic processes to use fat as energy instead of just sugar. And it's got spinach in it. So raise your hand if you'd like to lose weight today while we're sitting here. Yeah! Good, excellent. So somebody asked me about what this was the other day. It's the Kickstart Cleanse. It's what some of the guys were doing in the office. This is it. It's basically a way that you don't have to meal plan as much. You don't have to think as much. And this actually, if you look, it says day 1, 2, 3, days 4 through 6, and so on and so forth. This is the first page of it. But it tells you what to eat for breakfast, what to eat for lunch, and then it just tells you to eat an advanced plan for dinner. And doing this will basically help you kickstart. Actually, it's a cleanse, so it really is going to get stuff out of your liver. It'll curb carb cravings a little faster, and it includes not just eating like shakes for breakfast, but also the nutritional supplements to really get your metabolic pathways back as you get through this whole month. So the first 2 weeks would be kickstart, and the rest would be 20 and 30, just like everybody else. All right, so quickly, as far as do's and don'ts, and as far as habits versus willpower, who knows that willpower is not as powerful as habits? You guys know that habit is the elephant, lifestyle is the rider. Lifestyle, in case you pull on that elephant's reins, he can turn him a little bit, but it's an elephant. That elephant's going to go do what he wants to do. And so let me tell you something else about willpower. Willpower is an exhaustive source. It basically is running out. It's like a gas tank. You use it, you're using it up. Great study on that quickly. They can get a college student to do anything. Probably gave him $25 in this study. But anyway, they took college students. They said, don't eat anything for 3 hours and then come into the study. Right? They came into the study, they split up in 2 groups, and then one group in the same room, and the whole place smelled like fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. Now, I'm not talking about the gluten-free kind either. I'm talking about Toll House, melt in your mouth, chunks of chocolate, and like dripping when you go like, that's what I'm talking about. Sorry about that. That was just a visible right there. So it all smells like chocolate chip cookie in there, and they come in, they have a bowl of chocolate chip cookies, and fresh, and then they have a bowl of radishes. Okay? And they take half the students and they go, we want you to have like 6 of these cookies, and that's it. And then the other ones said, we want you to have like 3, 4, 5, 6 of these radishes, but you can't have any of these cookies over here. Don't eat any of these cookies, right? Now, they didn't have to tell that to the cookie people not to eat the radishes. They just didn't want the radishes. But it's college students. But they said, you can't have these cookies, right? And they left them in there for a good hour and 20 minutes afterwards. So they had to use willpower. I mean, can you imagine? I'm sitting there going, I like radishes, but not as much as chocolate chip cookies. So then the study's done for the day. They go home. They use this willpower, and they go home. They say, we want you to come back the next day. And they think it's an unrelated study, but they come in, and they take the 2 groups, and they say, we want to compare you college students to high school students. So they kind of get them puffed up a little bit, and they said, take this test. And it's a puzzle, and it's unsolvable. But they have to like trace this, and you can't solve it. But you can start it and begin it. You don't know that until you really get into this thing. You have to keep working through it. So they wanted to see how long, with willpower, they would stay and try and get this problem solved. And the people that ate the cookies who didn't use any willpower, they went for 19 minutes in an unsolvable, they were just going this way and that way, and they'd start over again, they'd race it, and they'd start over again, they'd race it. 19 minutes of this. I don't think a lot of people, and me included, would even do 19 minutes. But the ones that ate the radishes that the day before already used a lot of their willpower, guess how long they worked at that puzzle? 8 minutes on average, and they gave up. So the reason that willpower is not what you want to go with is because it is an exhausting resource. By about day 4, guess what you're going to do? Have you done this before? Has anybody started a diet or an exercise program and about a week in, you're done? Anybody else? Me? Am I on? Right? Or you bought that new self-help book and you're like, this is it. This is the book. And it's on a shelf somewhere with dust all over it. Right? You never even got to the end. That's because your willpower wasn't strong enough. That elephant just went right through you. And the elephants, whether they're good or bad, are the habits in your life. So if I can give you a habit to leave with, to give you one of the greatest success ingredients, it's to be a ninja label reader. Got it? Everybody say, I'm a ninja. Ninja. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So there's 4 things. Okay, first one, look for minimal ingredients. Okay, the more ingredients, the less you want it. Okay, if you got 400 ingredients in this thing, you don't want it. Strawberry shake from Burger King has 37 ingredients in it. And guess what it doesn't have in it? Strawberries. How about that? So you don't want something with lots of ingredients. Number 2, look for natural ingredients. If you can't pronounce it, you don't want it in you, I promise, right? 27-letter hexane, octane, whatever's, you don't want that. You want short little things that say like salt, or something, right? So also try to buy more foods without any labels at all, which would be what? Fruits, vegetables. If you can't print on it, it's probably not a bad thing, okay? Also, check every label on every single thing that you buy. When you do that and you become a label ninja, you will not eat things because you have looked at it and you're like, ooh, I really want it, but it's got bad stuff in it, right? Because you're going to see it now. Let me give you a hint. So you're not going to drink Coke anymore, right? We're not going to drink Coke, so we're going to drink something healthy like tea. Tea's healthier for you, right? So we can drink healthy tea. Probably less sugar in it. So this right here, look at this. Everybody look. It says natural. It's all natural. All natural. It's micro brewed, so it means it's not like this processed company or something. Great. Awesome. Looks like it's probably pretty healthy. I flip it over and go, oh, well, it's got a lot of sugar, but it's not as much as a Coke, so it's better, right? Except for, how many servings does it have? 2 servings, which means it has 48 grams of sugar. It has more sugar than a full can of Coke does in it. And so what you thought you were getting, you thought you were going to get something good and healthy, and guess what? That's worse than a Coke. Now, I'm not saying let's all have Cokes because you're not drinking tea now. You guys will talk yourself into anything. What I'm saying is don't buy anything, don't eat anything unless you read what? The label, okay? Like this, if you want something that's a treat, what we do for treats is this. We'll do like Zevias, okay? So Zevias, they have sprouts, okay? I won't say it's the healthiest thing in the world, but it's a good treat. And it's a low glycemic index, okay? It's sweetened with stevia. I don't know how they got a picture of me drinking water after my workout, but this is hydration. So that was not that funny, actually. Everybody here was like really, like instantly, I don't know if I can finish. It's kind of hurt. It's like cold. Is it cold in here? It's me, babe. It's me. 75% of you guys are dehydrated, and that's a big deal. In Olympic athletes, we know that if you're dehydrated by 2%, your overall performance, like you're going to be working out with me this whole month, your performance goes down by 10%, and that's also recuperative performance, so you getting over and adapting and muscle strength and all the rest. All right, replacement rule. This is in your book, but there's so many things that you can do just to replace what you're already using. What I'd like to do is not take stuff from you, just switch it, right? Like if you're doing coffee, coffee's not necessarily bad for you if it's healthy coffee and you're not adding all this bad stuff to it, like bad milk and bad fats and artificial sweeteners and all the rest. In fact, that's why I have Sheila and David over there. They have an organic coffee that actually has high antioxidant levels, and guess what you find? It's a healthy coffee. So raise your hand if you'd like to be able to drink coffee and still be healthy. Anybody? Right? So there you go. Make sure you see them at the break. Now, but just anything you're using, this is in your book. It's also what we have in the office. You know, they use this, not this. Do you guys have seen that in the office? Raise your hand if you've seen that in the office. It's a cabinet, 2 cabinets in the office that says, use this, not that, right? And it's just awesome. Go take a picture of it with your phone so you see it. But replacement rule. And now we're gonna finish up with this. But as I teach this, I was teaching a cancer killer makeover last weekend. And what I find is, when I get into this, I have some people who've tried a lot of things, and they go, yeah, but I tried that. It didn't what? Are you with me? You're hungry? I tried that, but it didn't work. There you go. Tried that, but it didn't work. And there's a secret to this. Oftentimes there's a secret in most things. And it's because health is not how you feel. You have been lied to. But it's because every part of marketing, every drug says if you feel like this, or if you have this, if you've ever had a headache, or if you've ever had a toe fungal infection, or if you've ever been depressed, or if you take this drug, and then for 4 minutes it says, you may bleed rectally or out of your eyes, or whatever. And there's a person going, I'm so good now. And they're like, could cause sudden death, could kill all your neighbors with an axe. Just like all this stuff, and yet you don't hear it, right? It teaches us, and more importantly, it teaches our kids that only when something feels wrong should you do something. That's a really bad thing. Because health is not how you feel. It's not even how you look, right? If you look at all the longevity people, like I'm the head of longevity for Maximize Living, so I do all the research on it. Go to all the places where everybody lives to 100. Do they have six-pack abs? No, actually nobody does. Do they look good? Yeah, they look good, but they're not like ripped out of their mind, right? They're also not extremists, okay? They're not like, they haven't had, a grain since 1969 or something. They're not extremists, but what they are is they're healthy. So it's not how you look, it's not how you feel. Let me tell you what it is. It's very simple what it is. It is something that the richest can't buy and the poorest already have. Got it? Problem is, most people don't value their health until they what? Until they lose it. But yet, if you have good insurance or you feel like you've got enough money, some people feel like they've got this bubble that protects them. Who's this? You guys know who this is? Steve Jobs. He has all the money in the world, and when he loses his health, could that save him? Didn't save him, right? In fact, actually, it probably did it worse because he had opportunities with every medical doctor in the world, and the number one cause of cancer for cancer patients in the United States is actually cancer treatment. And this is the head of the greatest company probably in the world today, and now passes on, right? And why? It's because health, it's not how you feel, it's not how you look. Let me tell you what it is. You ready for this? And if you're a patient, you know it. It's 100% function. It's just that simple, right? The World Health Organization says it. Everybody says it. The World Health Organization says it's how you function. So if I take anybody and they're functioning great, guess how much cancer they get based on all the research? They don't get cancer. Guess how much diabetes? These are the people that keep eating the stuff that we're going to get out of your diet in the next month. And guess what? They're never diabetic. They're still fairly lean. They do really well. And you're like, but he doesn't have to eat that way. It's because it's how your body functions. Everybody say function. Function. What controls that? The nerve system. And again, as soon as I bring this up, people go, well, yeah, he's a chiropractor. I expected that. Here we go. Here's the sales pitch right here. Here it comes. But listen, I'm not a chiropractor as much as I am a nerve system doctor. In fact, there's a big difference. In fact, 95% of chiropractors just rack and crack your back for pain. That's not what we do. We are nerve system doctors, and the only reason we adjust your back at all is because it houses the greatest system in your whole body that controls every single function. And for you to be healthy, you got to have this great first. Does it make sense? Right? For instance, here's a good example of this. This is Ross. Now, some of you guys have never seen this. This is a little bit older. I wanted to change this up a little bit. Ross comes in. I use a pretty grainy black and white because it's kind of embarrassing, right? But this is him fishing. And he likes to be by himself because he just likes to be by himself because he's upset about himself and his weight. But he's tried everything. He's tried Sugar Busters. Raise your hand for Sugar Busters. Weight Watchers, anybody? Weight Watchers, right? South Beach, Atkins, anybody else, right? So he's tried all these things. He's tried fasting. He's tried detox. He's tried all these things. But guess what? Nothing has what? So a lot like Martha, she's tried all these things, right? So he comes in finally because somebody went to his workplace and they did spinal screenings and all the rest, which is what we do as well. Come in and they check his spine. Now this is his neck. Everybody here should know that your neck should have a curve in it. Yes? Should be like this. What's wrong with his neck? Straight. So it's choking off the nerve supply right here. And what is this organ right here? Thyroid, but he's never known that. But he comes in, and as soon as he starts getting that taken care of, guess what happens? His thyroid starts to what again? Starts to work again. Just like a lot of the people here that have done all the amazing work. And guess what? As soon as that happens, guess what happens to his weight? Even before he starts making big changes. He starts going down. He starts coming in. Every time he comes in, it's like, hey, I've lost another 6 pounds. Whoa, I've lost another 4 pounds. Every time he comes in until he hits a plateau, and then he gets another essential and keeps moving that, and then he goes, I've lost another 8 pounds. I've lost another 3 pounds. I've lost another 4 pounds. He literally got his spine corrected. And can you see the difference? Do you see the difference in what we do? We're not just cracking a back or something, right? Like that. So we're actually correcting the nerve supply. So can you see how functionally now a spine that has less pressure choking off and strangulating a nerve supply would have a better overall metabolic function? Yes or no? Yeah? So now, do you think his picture that I'm about to put up is going to be different? So you go about 6 months. Now it was about 9 months. 9 months. It's 110 pounds. If I put 110 pounds on your back right now, you would fall to the floor most likely, right? This is how this works. And listen, I don't want one person to be in this room, especially if you're guests, to see all this and get so excited and really go, man, the metabolic stuff on hormones, it's cool, awesome, get excited and go do it, and yet you fall short and you think that what I said was not true. It's true except for nutrition, we're going to talk about. Nutrition is not good health. Eating right is not good health. It facilitates good health. Exercise, we're going to do that today, a lot of it. It's not health, it just facilitates good health. You have to have good health first, or function, and then eat good for this to really make a difference. Does it make sense? You have to be healthy, and then you exercise, and then you can get lean as a snake. Does it make sense? But you have to have an underlying foundation of health first, and health is function, and function is controlled by what system? Nerve supply. This is the neck. So this is a person's neck. There's their jaw, there's the back of their head. Good curve in the neck. Do you see that? The reason it strangulates the spinal cord, it's more than just the neck, but if you lose the curve, it stretches it. It does this, like that. Got it? How many people here, if you're a guest, don't raise your hand for any reason. As a patient here, how many people here, before you met me or the people in my office, knew that you could have a strangulating, disease-causing subluxation pattern in your nerve supply and not feel it? Raise your hand if you did know that, before. Maybe like 4 people in the whole room. Do you see the difference? Do you see why this is a secret? Nobody, quote, knows it. It's because of this. Now, there's warning signs of this. And in your packet, there is a stress survey somewhere. Here it is. If you're a guest, you have a red folder. You see this? See this? Everybody got a red folder? Guest, you got that? In it is this. Okay, you see this? It's got a picture of a guy and girl and they're running right here. It says health survey. I had someone come in the office the other day, and they were so upset. And they had a MRI of their brain because they were having headaches. You guys know what I'm talking about, MRI, right? $4,000 MRI. They came to a dinner, right, where they filled out a stress survey. And the stress survey, they circled one thing, and it said headaches. And I told them, I said, this right here, I said it at dinner, I'll tell you guys too. I said, this is more valuable than a $4,000 MRI, $3,800 CT, any x-ray you could possibly have up to this point. Because this shows us that most likely, if you circle anything on this, this is not just common symptoms, this is the most common ways that we know there's an underlying strangulating subluxation pattern in the nerve supply. Did you get that? So headache is not just a headache. So as soon as she circled that, and I went, this is probably what's going on, she came in, we checked her, and guess what we found? Exactly that. And guess who doesn't have headaches from here forward? Actually hasn't, and she's been having headaches for a decade. Kind of like Martha, you're having your headaches, right? So if you're a guest, if you have not filled this out, I want you to look at it. And just so you know, as you're filling this out, go ahead and fill this out. Actually, do me a favor. If you're a guest, why don't you wave this at me? Just wave it. I just want to make sure you. So just keep it up. Just wave it at me. Just like it's a flag in the air. Good. I want to make sure all my guests have it. Good. Right there. I think you all got it. Good. So I want you to fill this out. And it's not a competition to see who can fill out the most. I had somebody going, yep. It's not a competition. If you have that, we actually may go to the office today after the event. But what we're going to do now is this. The first step to lose to win, if you're a guest and you've not been checked, is to have your spine and nervous system checked. Does that make sense? My goal in my life is that every single human being gets checked. Every single one. For instance, come here. She didn't know it. This is what happens when you sit in the front row. So face away from us this way. Okay. Now, if I took her and I choked off her nerve supply right here, so I just made her hips go like that. Okay, do you see that? Doesn't hurt. But if I left that there permanently, can you see how it would cause a pressure on the nerve supply here? Can you see that? Would it also make sense that the nerves that come out that go to her female organs or her pelvic floor, her bladder, those things, would it make sense that those are compromised? Yes or no? Can I get a yes or a no? Yes, so it's compromised. Then if it's compromised and I leave it there long enough, would it make sense that eventually she's going to be diagnosed with a dysfunction or disease of those areas? Yes or no? Yes. So then when that happens, guess what they blame it on? Genetics. And if she's over 25, they blame it on what? Age. Yeah, so you're just getting old, right? Which they told a patient of ours that was 33 the other day. First of all, don't ever tell somebody that's younger than me, ever. I don't care when I'm 80. Okay? But does it make sense? I had a lady come in actually she was here this week. She was told she would never have children. She had endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome. She was supposed to have a hysterectomy at 28. She came in, we found an 8-degree curve in her back right here, which we adjusted and corrected so that she's perfectly straight. She started having a normal cycle again. Her polycystic ovarian syndrome magically disappeared, and I don't treat that. But since she's got a normal cycle, guess what? She canceled her hysterectomy. But guess what else happened? She got pregnant. I told her, you better watch out. She got pregnant to the dismay of her OBGYN. Also, guess what? She had this little baby who's a monster. He's a beautiful kid. He's a perfect kid. He just came out. He was the size of a 1-year-old. It was just crass. Like, congratulations, you have a 1-year-old. But now she's pregnant for a second time, right? Now, those are 2 lives that were changed because somebody got their spinal cord checked. Now, as much as I want you to lose weight and be successful, it's about your health first. So if you've never had this checked, we'll make sure that happens. Everybody give her a round of applause for being here. Thank you. Just by a show of hands, how many people here, when you do see somebody else that's done it, just, again, being honest, feel like you're more capable to do it? Just if you see somebody else that's done it, right? Again, everybody's that same way. And we had somebody that came in, actually even recently, who had some amazing results. So I want you to meet. Come up here. She's kind of bashful, so you have to give her some love. Give her some love. Come on, give her some love. Good. Where did Sam go? He totally ran out on you. So there he is. Good. Oh, he's sick. So this is her husband, Sam. This is Charlene. Come on up here, man. You're part of the crew. So Charlene came in. Just why don't you tell everybody how it was when you first came in?
Well, I started with, back in August when I came in, I was taking blood pressure medicine. My inflammation levels were really high, like 4 times the normal limit that they should be.
And what were you doing every month?
I thought I was doing good. I thought I was eating healthy. I was following a low-fat diet, and just didn't know why things weren't changing, why I wasn't losing weight.
She was also doing immune infusions, right?
Yes, twice a month.
Twice a month, that's
yeah,
right.
Every 2 weeks since 2008. So.
And those aren't like cheap, right?
No, they're not cheap.
How much does those cost? Did you just pay for them?
It's probably about $12,000 treatment.
Yeah, so twice a month.
$24,000 a month.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cost of your care is it's now just went up. It's $24,000 a month.
Yes.
So no, not really. So tell us what happened after you came in.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
I was mainly concerned about the inflammation. That's kind of why I came to see you, and thought I was doing everything good. Got some good information. Started getting adjusted to correct the interference in the spine and the nervous system. Yeah. And started on the advanced plan to address the inflammation issues. And I'm no longer. Yeah, inflammation. 4 times every year it was like doubling, and I was almost like at 4 times the normal amount. Normal is like 20. I was more like at 75. So I was almost 4 times the normal where I should be.
You just had blood work recently.
Just had blood work, and I'm like at 17. So I'm like below.
Amen.
Yeah,
Off of some medication?
No blood pressure medication.
Good. How about the infusions?
Infusions, I've cut those back. I'm working on those. Yeah.
So almost done with those.
Yeah.
So also you lost a little bit of weight?
Lost 25 pounds.
25 pounds.
Yeah.
Can I get an amen for that?
Yeah. So.
Good.
And I was gonna say, and what was your favorite drink that I used to stock?
Coke Zero.
Well, no, that and
sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Wait, it's not sweet tea. It's
sweet tea.
Sweet tea. Sweet tea. All right, so big round of applause for these guys. Pinkertons. Awesome. Good. Okay. So, without further ado, I want to throw this up. You've been lied to. Everybody say, I've been lied to. Good. All right. So we've been lied to. Basically, most people think that if I work out on a treadmill and I've been on there for 45 minutes at a fat burning zone, that guess what? I'm going to burn fat. That's a lie. It's a lie from the devil. You just can't do it. It doesn't happen. And most of you guys have tried that and you've come up short. Yes? Yes or no? You tried that, right? It's frustrating too, right? Well, there's another reason why people don't do that. Not just because they're frustrated. It's because they have tried, but they have excuses. Raise your hand if you've got an excuse for not working out. You better raise your hand if you've got a hand. I don't care if it's right or left. Everybody here's got an excuse. So I want you guys to see this. This is what most people's idea of how to exercise is. Now, what's crazy is some of you guys are like, that's a nice gym. I wish I could go to a gym like that. Listen, that is the wrong idea. Coach, come on. Seriously? That's just terrible. But let me tell you something. Everybody's got an excuse. I want you to listen to this.
Just got a headache. It's raining. My dog is sick. I can't right now. I'm not inspired. It makes me smell bad. I'm allergic to stuff. I'm fat. I'm thin. It's too hot. I'm not right. I've got shin splints, headache. I'm distracted. I'm exerting myself too much. I'd love to really, but I can't. I just can't. My favorite show is on. I got a case of the Mondays, the Tuesdays, the Wednesdays. I don't want to do this. I'm gonna do something else. After New Year's. Next week. Might make a mistake. I got homework. I feel bloated. I have gas. I got a hot date. My coach hates me. Mom won't let me. I bruise easily. It's too dark. It's too cold. My blister hurts. This is dangerous. Sorry, I don't have a bike. I didn't get enough sleep. My tummy hurts. It's not in my jeans. I don't want to look all tired out. I need a better coach. I don't like getting tackled. I have a stomach ache. I'm not the athletic type. I want to get sweaty. I have better things to do. I don't want to slow you down. I have to do this as soon as I get a promotion. I think I'll sit this one out. And my feet hurt.
Now listen, the reason I play that is because if you have an excuse, I have just taken care of it. It was probably in there. I like it was like, I don't get all sweaty. I love that. So if you had an excuse, it's done. But listen, anything is better than what? Anything's better than nothing. But high intensity, short duration is the best. We talk about Metcon or metabolic conditioning. That's why we've got Max T3. I don't have one up here, but if you're a patient, you have it. It's the Max T3 DVD series. It's 12 minutes of exercise. It's Metcon. It's fast. It's intense. And it's done in 12 minutes. Got it? Now, we're going to do some of that today. I threatened, and we're here. We're to that point. But before we get there, I'm going to actually have, not just yet, but I'm going to have the guy that leads me, Todd Zakowski, who owns the best CrossFit gym in the world, come up. He's going to lead you. But let me tell you what has to happen. It has to happen today, and it has to happen all through this month. I need to get you to where you're more comfortable being uncomfortable. Does that make sense? I need to get you to a place where you're comfortable being uncomfortable. The problem is most people don't want to get that uncomfortable when you work out. But you've got to get to a state where you change your physiology. Getting great results don't happen when you're on a treadmill going, hey, everybody, how you doing? And you're just on a treadmill. I checked off. I did my exercise today. It has to be done where your physiology completely changes. You get through your VO2 max. You can't get any oxygen you can anymore. And you sit like this, and you finish, and you're up like this. And this is all you can do at the end. In fact, I can't even do this at the time I'm done with my workouts. I have to do this. I'm on the back. I'm like this. I'm laying on the floor like this. This is how I end every single workout. Todd Zakowski, am I right? Yes, sir. I hate that he admits that so quickly. But that's how I end every workout, just like that. So I'm going to have him come up, and I want him to take us through. Now, some of you guys don't even know what Max T3 is. It's time, tempo, or time, type, and tempo. You dial those in. Just so you know, what you have is not an exercise video with 12-minute exercise in it. What you have is a scientifically put together set of exercises that have different workout types, tempos, and times to engage and dial your hormones perfectly so that you lose weight and not build fat. Does that make sense? That's how amazing that is. And some of you guys as patients have not even opened the cellophane on the wrapper yet. I won't ask you to raise your hand, but you know who you are. Now, I need someone to lead me. Some of you guys do better with that. And listen, it is one of the greatest things that I've done. I've never liked to get up at 4:30 in the morning and get to a workout at 5 ever. Between what Dr. Kimberly's done with me through the metabolic program and then just working on my health constantly, but then having a great place to go where everybody knows your name, you feel encouraged when you get there, right? It's not like going to the gym either. Like when you go to the gym, you're in a place and it's like there's people going, "Ugh!" and they're like doing crazy stuff next to you, and you kind of feel like, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I'll go over here and work out, and then the same thing happens over there. But you come in, you guys are all doing the same thing at a CrossFit gym, and that's why I love it. It's like you all come together to tackle a hill together, and you get to know each other and make fun of each other and have fun together every single morning. I show up so much for the camaraderie now in CrossFit as I do the workout. But what I want Todd to do today is to really take you guys through an exercise program. Now, what I want to see is people getting uncomfortable. Like you need, literally, when he's done, there should be sweat. I should see like moist pits. I should see people going, like this. Like you should accuse your neighbor of stealing your oxygen because they're breathing so hard. Got it? That's what I want to see. And so really you gotta dial it in. So we want to play hard and have fun, but we really want to play what? Play hard right now. The reason we want to do that is because we want your your excess post-exercise oxygen consumption or your afterburn, so the amount of oxygen you use after the exercise, to be great. What happens is, if you guys look at those screens, this one here, classic cardio, you're only at a certain metabolic rate, so this is 1 hour of time. So right when you're done, that amount of oxygen post-exercise you use just drops. So within like 15, 20 minutes, it's gone. But if you can dial this thing up and go so hard that you don't have any more reserve for oxygen and you're out of breath so much, you can't talk anymore. Basically what you're trying to, in 12 minutes, you literally can get to a point where you literally have an afterburn of oxygen, burning fuel, getting leaner while you don't do anything for up to 36 hours, 38 hours. Is that awesome? Who would like that? Just raise your hand. Guess what? You got to push hard, and he's about to do that. Are you ready? All right, so we're going to do something amazing. This is what it is right here. There he is right there, the man, larger than life, the legend. I'm going to get out of the way.
It's
right here.
It's my anniversary.
Is it really?
1 year that you did my first adjustments after this makeover last year.
Oh, awesome. Give it up. Spectacular. He's also a patient, just so you know, and he's not just any patient. You know, I don't know if you know this about me. I'm kind of cheap. He doesn't get paid to come. He wants to volunteer because he wants to make this a better community. That's why he started the CrossFit gym. He could have done anything, and literally, I mean that. And he started a CrossFit gym because he wanted to make people healthier and more fit and encourage people. And he's taken a person that's made it their life message to go out and encourage people, and he's encouraged me every day I've been there. So I want you to get on your feet. Everybody up. Here we go.
Oh, some of you asked a question that I always ask when they see me. Are we going to squat today? Yes, we are going to squat today because squatting is the most functional movement in the entire world. Squatting replicates what? Going to the bathroom, right? Okay, going to the potty. And so our goal for you is when you are 90 years old, you can continue to go to the bathroom without any assistance whatsoever. Is that a good goal? Good goal. And so we're going to work on the squats, but we're also going to do a couple other things to kind of get our way into it. We're going to finish with squats. But today we're going to do several different things. We're going to start off with what you're used to from David's warm-ups for you. We're going to start running in place, but we're going to add a punch. So while we're running in place, I want to see your hands moving. So practice that for a second. Right there in your spot. You're punching, you're running, you're punching, you're running, right? That's movement number one. We're going to do that for 20 seconds. 20 seconds. And we're going to rest for 10. Then we're going to do movement number two. Movement number two is put your hands in the air and jump, 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 jump. All right, we're getting a little harder now. 20 seconds of jumping with our hands in the air. And we're going to finish with squats. We're going to look at the squats real quick. You have a chair there. The chair is going to help you because you're going to touch and go, touch and go. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for you to be able to sit down, back on your heels, sit to your chair and stand. Sit and stand. I don't want to see anybody up on their toes doing any of this. Back and down. Back and down. For those of you that are advanced and have done this before, you can do the more advanced move, which is squat, touch the floor, and jump if you want to. So that's the advanced plan. That's the advanced plan. All right, so I'm going to cue up the music. We're going to go for 20 seconds. I got my timer right here. Yeah, that's good music. All right, here we go. Movement number one. 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go, as hard as you can. We're punching, we're running. Punching. Hey, that looks good over there. You got that one? That looks good. Oh, that's only halfway. We're still going. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And rest. All right, 10 seconds. Breathe. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're jumping. Here we go. We're still jumping. We're halfway. We're still jumping. I think I just broke the stage. And rest. All right, 10 seconds. Breathe. idea. All right, here we go. We're squatting and jumping. Here we go. Ready? Are we done yet? And stop. Thank you very much. I think you're warm now.
That was awesome. We will resume in about 5 minutes when I catch my breath. I never do it with you guys because I don't want to come here and be out of breath. This is the way it should be right there. Yeah, that's good stuff. You should be in class with him. It's very fun. Very, very fun. Okay, so moving on here. This is the inside of the gym, by the way. He cleans the floor often, and the reason for that is sweat bombs from Dr. Herb all day long. Actually, I usually end on my back, like I said, and I always say I leave a mark on this gym, because when I get up, you can see an outline of me every single day, right where I was laying. Actually, one day he came in, he goes, "You okay? It's been about 4 or 5 minutes you've been laying there." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to be fine." Awesome. All right. So, moving on. So, this month, we want to do this. You hear me? I did the cancer killer makeover I did last week at a church. We talked about oxygen. And when you flood your cells and your tissues with oxygen, your cancer rates go down super, like literally, cancer does not like oxygen. Like it will run away. And so you flood your body with oxygen, your likelihood of cancer just goes closer and closer to nil. In fact, Otto Warburg says the cause of cancer is known. It's when any cell is deprived of oxygen by up to 60%. Sweating, which is what we want to create. Did anybody feel like they're a little moist after that? Me too. Yeah, I'm not going to take this off. Probably have a couple pit things going there. But the reason that sweating is so big is because it's going to really naturally detox you, help reboot the hormones, and get you faster results. Some of you guys haven't sweat since 1986. It's not good. Every single cancer consult I've ever done, they've always had the same thing in common. They just really didn't sweat very well. And so we really want you guys sweating very well. It's a healthy thing. If you don't sweat great, we need to figure that out. And it may be your nervous system, maybe a toxicity issue. It could be something, but we're going to fix it. Got it? And we're going to make this happen. I like that too. Sweat is fat crying. I love it. I'm going to make them weep too. All right, so the reason it's important is because we want that cell membrane to be permeable. This helps. Sweating really helps it be permeable. And to really help aid that is what that Opto-Omega is for, is to help heal that membrane of your cell. If I can get every cell healthy, guess what you'll be? Healthy, that's what we want. Okay? Also, we have some chia seed pudding. Do we have that in the house? Let's pass that out as I continue here. I wanted you guys to try this. This is healthy pudding. Now, this is a 100% advanced plan, just like the other one was. It's got healthy fats. It's made with chia seed. This is really, really nice stuff. This is what we eat every single week at our house. Also, Cray team, what do we have every single meeting of every week that we're there? What is every one of you have what? Chia seed chocolate pudding. And actually, we started getting competitive, and they changed the recipe up. So one week, somebody added some cinnamon, and we were like, "Holy Lord of mercies, that's awesome!" And so everybody started adding cinnamon. Then somebody added something else, and so this is now the recipe. So if I don't have this written down, take a picture of it with your phone, write it down on something. But this is the recipe, and so healthy fats, good proteins. It'll also be used as a meal replacement during these days here. Yeah. It's unsweetened coconut milk. Yes, and it's full fat too, not low fat. Got it? If you can get organic, get the organic one. You can get that stuff at Walmart. You can get it at Kroger, Market Street, Sprouts, everywhere. If you go to Sprouts and they don't have any, it's because the Herb family's been there. We buy like 20 cans at a time. So it's good stuff. So pass that out. Start trying it. Raise your hand. Those guys have tried it. You guys like that? Is that good stuff? It's good. It's kind of nice. Completely healthy, completely guilt-free. Now, if you guys start having like a sugar craving, do you think that might kind of ease it up a little bit? Do you see that? So it's good stuff, okay? Let's talk about stress a little bit. I know nobody here is stressed. Say, I'm not stressed. You can't even put it out of your mouth. Look at you. You're like, I can't even say it. Stress is a real thing. Stress causes a stress hormone response. Cortisol, everybody's heard. There's a lot more than that. But cortisol, when cortisol goes up, every bit of your metabolic processes go down. I just had a conversation with somebody over the break, and they said, well, I think my friend or my daughter has a slow metabolism. But generally what we see is that you're either it's just a dysfunctional metabolism. Does it make sense? Not a slow metabolism, it's just dysfunctional. A lot of things can cause it, but one thing that specifically can cause it very easily is stress. The people that actually go through some serious life circumstances, we see them start gaining weight. And it's not because they're driven to comfort foods. It's because literally their cortisol goes to the roof, insulin jumps up, and then leptin burns out, and then they can't use fat for a fuel source, and then they just start packing on weight because of stress. Make sense? So the question you want to have is, how do I decrease stress in my life? And no, don't say anything about your in-laws. It's not getting rid of your in-laws. No, it's not your boss, right? No, well, maybe it is your boss if you work for me. But no, it's what it is. It's your perspective, right? And so you can't change the world around you until you change your perspective of it. Everybody hear that before? So you got to change your perspective. I'm not saying that the world's going to be perfect ever, but what you can do is change your reaction to it. And we do that by reading the Bible, reading the Word, which is powerful. We do that with daily affirmations. We do that with being in a culture of people that support you and are great with you. We had somebody that actually left a job recently because it wasn't a good fit, and there was a lot of stress to that. We had a nurse last year who told she had to have a flu shot. And again, I don't believe in flu shots, just so I'm going to be transparent. And they said they were going to fire her if she didn't take the flu shot. So she said, this is an environment that I want to work in, and she left. And I totally applaud that. That's awesome, right? So there's some things I don't necessarily think you need to quit your job, but you need to work on stress. If you can't do that, there's a couple things. There's a dynamic duo, green coffee bean extract and ashwagandha. Now, you guys know that I've had ashwagandha in some of the products since we formulated them several years ago. And Dr. Oz went on, when he did that whole thing on weight loss, it was last year, year before, whatever it was, and he did a whole thing on weight loss. Do you remember that? And as soon as he said ashwagandha, and I've been talking about it for years, there was a worldwide shortage of ashwagandha. We literally could not get ashwagandha to make our Max Fit product, and it went on back order for like a month and a half or something like that. So ashwagandha, amazing research shows that it actually has a protective effect to your nerve supply, which means your brain doesn't release stress hormones because it doesn't feel stressed as easily. Does it make sense? So you can lessen your stress hormone responses by simply taking something with ashwagandha in it. Got it? That's why we do Max Fit, because it helps get leaner because it's got ashwagandha in it. Another one is coffee bean extract. There was a Swedish study done. It was 22 weeks long. They had people in it. The average person lost 10% of their body weight without changing their diet or their exercise. Now, as soon as I say that, don't just go think you can buy this and get healthy. You can't get health in a pill. But the average person lost 16% of their body fat, which is really good. So having ashwagandha and having green coffee bean extract is a powerful way to do it. Does it make sense? Very, very simple, very easy to do too. So we actually have Max Fit. It's funny too. It's like we have so many different resources now for things. This is one that a lot of people just don't take advantage of. If it's not something you want to take regularly, got it. But I can tell you, during this makeover, if you put yourself a destination on the map that's a long way away, I would do everything I could for that commitment to get that point. This would be maybe one thing that you would think about. Got it? Make sense? And I'm going to have Dr. Kimberly come up. She's going to go through a couple things, Kickstart-wise, upcoming events, and then I'm going to close this out with a couple other things. And can I just say this? Everybody thinks that all of this, the circle, and listen, guess who goes on TV? I go on TV. Guess who goes on radio? I go on radio. Guess who gets to be on stage all the time? I do. Guess who goes on stage at seminars? I do. And everybody looks and goes, man, I'm amazed at what you've done. And they're talking to me sometimes when she's not around. And I'm not just saying this. Literally 90 plus things that happen for you in that office happen because the person who knows how to organize, who knows how to systematize, to produce the type and the level of care that is like no other, and that's my wife. So big round of applause for Dr. Kimberly. Love you. All right.
So do you want to click for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so ready to lose 20 and 30. The new, basically I'm going to walk you through kind of your steps. Some people want to lose more than 20. Some people want to lose 10. Whatever that is, we need to decide that based upon the next slide here. And actually, first, before I get into that, I want to talk about this Kickstart Cleanse. I got a lot of patients, actually, and people came up to me and said, what is this Kickstart Cleanse? There are a few more packets. I think we have 5 more left. But I want to kind of talk to you and kind of explain this to you a little bit so that way you can decide whether this is going to be part of your plan. There's a few more flyers over there. There's a couple pages. Basically, it's 15 days. And the first, it actually gives you an exact plan of what to do for those 15 days. So days 1 through 3, it'll tell you you're going to do a plant protein smoothie for breakfast. You're going to do a plant protein smoothie for lunch. And then dinner is going to be an advanced plan meal. And it's going to be, you know, one of those full fiber, it says more like focus on fiber-rich foods. There are also supplements that you take with it. So it'll tell you specific supplements in what time of day that you need to take them. And those supplements are actually all on the back of the sheet here. So you'll have Detox System, you'll have vitamin D3, you'll have Daily Defense, Max Greens, and then again, like I said, the Perfect Plant Protein. So basically, you're not going to have to think too much about breakfast and lunch because it's going to be a smoothie. And that smoothie, you can put, you know, avocados, you can put almond butter in there, you can put blueberries, you can mix it up with advanced plan additives in your smoothie. But basically, you're just going to be doing a smoothie for breakfast, a smoothie for lunch, and then an advanced plan meal for all 15 days. Each day, it gives you, like the sections, days 1 through 3, it'll tell you what to expect. Now, I think that's kind of important when you're doing a cleanse, because when you show up and you're actually cranky for 3 days, and your spouse says, dang, what is wrong with you? You know, what's wrong? Well, you can say, you know, my Kickstart Cleanse is actually what's wrong, but it's actually what's right. You're basically dumping toxins, and that's a really important thing. And sometimes in the process of changing your hormones around, that actually can make things a little bit difficult. Anybody have that issue when they've kind of gone through a cleanse before? I know Rebecca's going through it right now. Rebecca, you're not cranky at all, are you? Nope. Rebecca? So, and I think Rebecca's on day 5, and she's lost about 3 pounds so far on day 5, so that's good. Then days 4 through 6, it has the same thing, and then it'll tell you kind of what to expect. What's nice, it'll say fatigue, headaches, increased bowel movements, hunger, thirst, irritability, changes in mood, skin rashes, and irritations. So it gives you kind of a heads up of what you kind of can look for. Same thing for days 7 through 9, 10 through 12. And when you get into the days 10 through 12, what's exciting is it'll tell you what to expect is improved energy, weight loss, improved sleep, and improved digestion. Then you'll go all the way through to day 15. And after day 15, that's when you're at that improved energy, weight loss, improved sleep, and improved digestion zone. So for some people, I think this is a really good place to get you mentally focused and mentally prepared to start doing the advanced plan. If this is the plan that you want to do, like I said, I have 5 more kits left. And what you want to do is while you're doing that, you want to be studying your cruise ship book here. And from studying this book, you're planning out your meals for the next 15 days because it's a 30-day cleanse that we're doing, a 30-day, detox at what we're doing here, 20 and 30 plan. So that's kind of what we're doing with that. So the 7 steps really that I want everybody, you can take a picture of this and kind of get your plan in order, but your 7 steps, really what you want to do is make sure you write down what your vision is. And I have a slide in the office for those of you who are patients in the office. There's a blue board in our office and it says, my vision for 2015, Lose to Win Makeover, February 7th is, and you pick up a sticker, you write down on that sticker, and that's really your vision. If it's lose 2 inches, off your waistline, fit in your size, whatever size jeans, be able to, do CrossFit, whatever that vision is, you want to write that down because that's really just like the big why that Dr. David talked about. That's going to be the thing that kind of catapults you and gives you a little direction of why you're getting up in the morning every day. Okay. The next thing is you want to weigh in and measure yourself weekly. In our office, we have a Tanita and it's a body fat percentage scale. We also have scales in both of the bathrooms. If you have a scale that you like at home or a measuring tape that you do at home, the important thing is that you're consistent. You use the same measuring tool. So if you start with your measuring tape, measure at the same spot every week, okay? And also, if it's the Tanita, you put on there that you're the same height every time. That way the scale's accurate. A little bit taller and less body fat, right? So make sure you're measuring and you keep those measurements weekly. The next slide, I think, there's a place on there back to the weigh in and measure. There was also a place in the office where you can write your name. I thought that was on one of the slides, but you can write your name and write down your first name, your first initial of your last name, and every week write that on the sheet. 2 pounds down, 5 pounds down, 2 inches down. I went from a size 12 to a size 10, whatever that is. And that way you see it every time you come in, and it kind of helps you and motivates you. Last year, we had over 1,000 pounds lost in our office during this month that we did. 1,000 pounds, guys. So we can exceed 1,000 pounds, but what's really awesome is to be able to see that on the board. It gives you traction. It gives you momentum. It gets you excited. So you're going to choose your meal plan, step number 3. So some of you have never done the advanced plan before. So you're going to go to chapter 9 in this book, and you're going to choose that meal plan. I would photocopy it, put it out on your pantry door, and make a binder, whatever you need to do so that you actually get really comfortable with these meals. There's a shopping list in here. And if you haven't gone shopping yet with Dr. Becky, then make sure you sign up for the shopping day because she can teach you how to find some of these things in the grocery store. But choose your meal, choose your meal plan. This is also where you would choose whether you're going to do the 15-day Jumpstart plan. And then if you do 15-day Jumpstart, then you're actually going to transition over to on day 16, you're going to switch over to this. We also have a green book for those of you who've done this before. That's the Maximize Living Nutrition Plan, and there's recipes in there as well. So just make sure that when you get started that you choose which plan you're going to do, and then you just kind of stick with that. The next thing you do is step number 4 is you're going to choose your workout plan. So your workout plan, what does that mean? That means if you have never done any workout at all, then you're going to choose the Max T3 DVD, right? And you're going to come to the workshops that we have in the office, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. That would be maybe a first step for you. If you're already doing that, there's actually, in fact, in your folder, everybody has a folder. We have this little sheet right here. It says Lose to Win. And on here, this actually has 3 workouts a week that you can follow. If you've never done that, this is a really good example. If you're going to follow the workouts that are in the cruise ship book here, this is a 6-day-a-week workout plan. So for those of you who already were doing 3 days a week, you want to kick it up a notch by following the plan that's in here and using your Max T3 DVD and coming to the workshops in the office. Then if you've already been doing that and you're ready to kick it up another notch, that's when you're going to plug into something like CrossFit with Coach Todd and actually take it up another notch. You got 30 days to really hit it really hard. Number 5, bring a friend. Who knows that it's actually a lot more fun when you have somebody there that kind of counts on you, right? It's so much more fun when you have a friend. So bring a friend. Number 6 would be come to the follow-up events. Like I talked about with the follow-up events earlier, Dr. David's going to be doing Wednesdays where we're going to be working out in the office. So you'll have a chance in a second to sign up for those events. That's going to be, like I said, on the Wednesdays. We're also going to have a shopping class. So in your binder, you have this little sheet right here. Dr. David will cover in just a second, but this has all the events that are coming up. Plug into these events, go shopping with Dr. Becky. And then we have a recipe night called #Foodie. So that'll be where you'll be able to try some of these recipes and realize that it really does taste good. And then the other thing is the dinner that we have coming up. The last thing I want to say that's really huge is to journal everything. Begin today by journaling. Take your phone and start a note list and write down every single thing that goes in your mouth, what time it is, how much you're drinking, whatever it is that you're drinking, what your workout was for today, because there's nothing more convicting than to see it on paper right? When you start seeing on paper what it is that you're doing, you actually start moving in a positive direction. I like it when people bring it in and just show me their journal. You can do that. I'll be around. You can show me what your journal looks like. But those are really kind of your roadmap and your steps to kind of get you to lose 20 pounds in 30 days if that is what you want to do. But whatever it is, whatever that vision or that goal is, this really helps you kind of guide you in that direction. Does that help everybody? Any questions? One more thing, if you are a patient who's already done metabolics, you want to stay on and you decide to do the cleanse, the 15-day cleanse, make sure you stay on all your supplements. So don't go off your supplements while you're doing your metabolics. Stay on whatever it is that was specifically designed for you and just change your meal plan out. Okay? Any other questions? Good. Awesome.
This is the sign me up. If you've not signed yourself up, we need a head count for different events coming up. If it's very big, we're actually going to move locations and things like this. So if you want to come, and listen, it's included in your makeover, right? Do you know what it would cost for 4 workouts a week with a personal trainer? It's $1,040, and it's included in the price of your ticket. Come, okay? Come with us to the grocery store. Make sure you're at recipe night. Come to these events, okay? So make sure you sign yourself up. And what you're going to do is once you fill that out, every single person has one in your bag or in your packet. I want you to fill it out, and then I want you to pass it to the left. Pass it to the left. Fill it out and pass it to the left. For some reason, I see some of you guys aren't filling that out. I'm not sure why that is. I may wait. You're going to fill that out. Good. All right, now, there are 2 things that you need. Good, keep going. There's 2 things you need to finish this up today. And I may actually finish close to on time. Here we go. 2 things. Number 1, you need belief. Number 2, you need involvement in the lives of others. Belief is the secret to the secret. It's a secret ingredient to the secret soup. If you watch Kung Fu Panda, sorry, a dad of a 4-year-old. Kung Fu Panda, he said the secret soup. He said, well, if I knew the secret ingredient to the secret ingredient soup, then you'd really love this. But what's the secret ingredient? You just have to believe. Also, what made it awesome is he was involved with the lives of others. He was excited for other people to try this. He was involved, okay? So I'm going to give you 2 stories. How many stories? 2. I'm going to give you 2 stories. First one with belief. The best story on belief that I can possibly give you is a story of a guy who's a runner. He is an amazing guy. Cliff Young is the guy's name. There's an ultra marathon. It's 875 kilometers. It's from Sydney, Australia to Melbourne. It's over 600 miles. It's the most grueling foot race on the planet Earth. Got it? So it's in our lifetime. It wasn't like 100 years ago. So the race is about to begin. It's 5 a.m. in the morning, and all the guys that are pro runners, they're all usually under the age of 30. They're wearing their Adidas, their Nike, right? So they're all their glasses. You know, they're all equipment. They look like runners. Can you get the picture? A guy rolls up. He's a 61-year-old farmer. He's wearing bibs and galoshes because he thinks it may rain. And he's not there to watch the race. He's there to participate. So he rolls up, and the people goes, "What are you here for?" He goes, I've never run a race before. I've always wanted to run a race, and my calendar was free, so I thought I'd come run this one." They're like, "What?" He goes, "What makes you think you can run this race?" He goes, "Well, I don't own a horse, and I run a cattle and sheep farm, so I go out and I run after sheep and cows, and sometimes I'll run for a whole day." And they go, "Well, good on you, mate. Let's go." So they start the race, and they just flat leave this 61-year-old farmer behind. But this 61-year-old farmer, Cliff Young, does this. And they later call it the Cliff Young Shuffle, because he's just going along, just like this. But Cliff Young has an advantage that none of the other runners have. Cliff Young does not have a coach to teach him that the human body can only run for 18 hours and has to sleep for 6, that it has to have the right amount of padding per weight ratio on the shoe, that you have to have non-chafing fibers, the stuff that you're wearing, that you have to have so many calories per hour, and the complicated math that involved with that. Cliff Young had an advantage because all he knew is he wanted to run a race, and he knew he could do it. And so guess what? At the end of the first day, the runners got 18 hours in, and they did what? They slept. And Cliff Young didn't know anything about this. So Cliff Young, as they were sleeping, just ran right on by. In fact, he kept running for 5.5 days straight without stopping. And at the end of the world's roughest, longest race, a 61-year-old farmer in galoshes and bibs actually beat the world record time by 12 hours and won the whole thing. That story of Cliff Young is the best story of belief. But I think sometimes the most powerful things that you get are the things that you don't know, which is why you have to protect this real estate. You know, you start having people tell you that your genes are where your health comes from and that you've got to have a flu shot. And, you know, if you have high blood pressure, you're going to have a stroke. And all these things that they put in here. Listen, your mind is a thing that creates real estate. Thinking makes things. I hate to be too metaphorically here or metaphysical, if you even will. But listen, your mind has a real input on who you are and what you achieve. And the one thing that he had more than all those other races, he's like, no, I like to run. I'm just going to run it. Can you imagine? Galoshes in a bib. It's just horrible. I love it. That's the first one. So you got to believe. Listen, your spirit, your human spirit can overcome anything. I've seen the worst of the cancers. I've seen people who just knew they were going to beat it. They'll beat it. Right? Your human spirit and what you believe is the most important and most powerful thing, which is why this is essential number one, not the nerve supply. This is first. This has to come first. This is why this month long you have to protect the real estate of your mind. I think you ought to be off Facebook for a whole month. I think you ought to try and not text every single time. You're so Pavlovian dog when that thing goes bing or buzzes, it's like, boom, I got to check it. I got to check it. I got to check it. You have got to protect the real estate of your mind. Right? And so this month, I want you to do that. I want you to be in the Word. That's what I do. You don't have to do that, but that's what we do. And I think it's amazing. It gives me power, just to let you know. There's power in it. But it's here first. Let me give you the second thing. Getting involved in the lives of others. I'm going to tell you one little story on it, and I'm going to be as fast as I can. It's a story of a little barista, okay? So you'll never forget this story. And I'm going to tell the story with three individuals. It's three women. The first one is the barista. She comes in. It's a 23-year-old girl, comes to the office. She has migraines so bad that they think she has a brain tumor, but she keeps getting the MRIs and CTs, and they can't find the brain tumor. She's 23 years old. She's got a newborn baby, and she can't hardly work. Her mom, who's a patient, understands, brings her in. We find the cause of it, and it's right there. And as soon as we open up the nerve supply, praise God, her headaches are gone. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. But she's painfully introverted. And if you know that something that will save someone's life, I expect you to tell every person you know. But she's so painfully introverted, she doesn't talk to anybody. Even while she's a barista at Starbucks, she's just going and going and going. So here's a picture. I didn't show you this. This is Cliff Young, by the way. Is that awesome? And he beat all those 30-year-olds. But this is a barista, and she's from Starbucks. But she's at Starbucks. Her life has changed. She doesn't talk to anybody. But there's occasionally some people that come in that are just effervescently spectacular in their positivity and all the rest. And a mom and a 14-year-old son come in regularly. And one day they come in, and she's not with them, but the 14-year-old is. And they have to drive in. So she's like, well, where's your mom at? I know you didn't drive. Where's your mom? He said, I just came in to get her latte. She's in the car. She can't walk. Her back pain is so bad with leg pain, she can't walk. And for an instant, she thinks what? I should what? I should tell her. I should tell her about chiropractic, and then if you've ever heard anything about chiropractic, and what's the next thing? I don't know if I want to get involved. What is she going to say? She might say no. I might be embarrassed. You know, this whole painful thing. But she reaches past that. She leaves the coffee bar. She walks outside. She gives a card. She gives her card to her office. And she says, listen, I'm uncomfortable to even talk about this with you, but this guy saved my life. Literally, I thought I was dying. I couldn't work here anymore. And the only reason that I've been serving you for all these weeks is because he saved my life. Go see him. Well, she's actually in her late 50s. She's about to be medically discharged from Parkland Hospital, where she's been working for 18 years. She's going to be medically retired, I should say. So she has her back's against the wall. She comes in. We find the problem, like we're looking for the cause. We're not there just to crack a spine or something. We find the cause of her problem, begin removing interference so her body can heal again, and guess what happens? It heals. She canceled the surgery she had planned for her back 3 weeks later. She began to lose weight, apply these 5 essentials just like you learned today. She lost a lot of weight. She now is living these essentials. Her life is great again. She didn't have to retire. She loves her job. And she happens to work in the basement of Parkland Hospital in the Patient Discharge Planning Center. So if you've ever been at Parkland and you get discharged, you've got to go to the discharge planner where it says, so what she would do is she'd sit down with you. She'd have a clipboard, say, this is what the doctor says, these are your medications, this is how you take them and when, and this is when they want to see you again, or this doctor, or this is your recommendation. But after her experience where this saved her life, she would do the very same thing, and then she would take the clipboard, and she'd set it right here. And need of them, she'd say, but now let me tell you what you really need to do. Whether it was right, whether it was wrong, whether it was legal, or whether it was not. She would say, listen, I've got a guy that I know will change your life and save your life. So this is the second lady. The third lady is a lady who lived in South America. She's a younger mom. She's got 2 kids, 2-year-old and 4-year-old. Her husband's a prominent medical doctor in their community. She becomes sick, and she begins to get sicker and sicker, and he can't figure out what's wrong with her. And they do all the tests, and they can't find out. She starts to get so sick that she's going down so fast, within 2-3 weeks, she will not be alive anymore. That's how fast things are getting bad. In fact, in a couple of days, she probably won't be able to walk. And so they literally emergency evacuate her country and flee to the United States to get to somebody that might be able to help her before she passes away. But as she's leaving, how do you say goodbye to your 2-year-old and your 4-year-old when chances are you're probably not going to see him again? And if you got kids, I want you to imagine this. You kneel down to your little 2-year-old and your 4-year-old, and you're at your front door, you're going to get in the car, and you grab their little faces, and you kiss on them, and you just put your forehead on their forehead. They're not emotionally mature enough to understand the situation. So she cannot tell them goodbye forever. All she can do is try and hold it together to say, I love you, Mommy loves you, I love you, I love you. Gets to the car, and all she sees is at the front door, her little kids sitting with her mom going, bye, Mommy, bye, Mommy, bye, Mommy. And she's sitting there, and she's sobbing, trying to keep a smile on her face as she waves goodbye to try and keep them from being scared. She makes it to Dallas. She gets in. Thank God she made it, right? It's almost like we got here. But she goes through all the battery of tests and everything they can do, and guess what they find? Nothing different than her husband found. So in tears, almost like this is it, they end up in the discharge center in the basement of Parkland Hospital, and guess who's discharging her? Jeanette Antonez, who takes a look at her paperwork in such a bleak view with almost nothing written because there's nothing they can do. And she takes a look at it. Before she says anything, she puts it down, and she puts her arm around her. She goes, let me tell you what you need to do now. And she said, and listen, with a belief more than most of the chiropractors that do this, because she had her own personal experience, looks at her and she says, now you're going to go see a doctor that I know can help. And she calls me, and you know if adjusting, I don't come off the shift. But when Jeanette Antonez calls, you answer. And she says, I've got a lady that needs to come see you today. And it was a Friday morning early. And so I said, bring her in. We'll make it happen. So we come in. We immediately get her in. We immediately check her out. She's not good at all. We found strangulated, choking pressure on her nerve supply and doesn't have any back pain, no neck pain, no headaches. But she's dying. And we see it clear as a bell. And I know why. I just looked at her. I said, listen, if I can remove the interference, God can do the healing. But I'm going to need to see you as much as possible and as long as possible. And so she came and I adjusted her all that morning. I said, you're going to come see me this afternoon too. And when she came in the front door crying. And being an internal optimist, I knew she was not doing very well. But it was because she was actually doing great. She was crying, and she said, I'm so much better just in the hour since I saw you. I said, praise God. We'll get on the table. If I can remove the interference, your body can do the healing. And so we did that. And that was on a Friday. The next day was Saturday. We had a new patient orientation where they came in to look at x-rays. And the husband was there, the medical doctor. He said, I've never heard this before. It doesn't make sense to me. But from what I've already seen, you tell me to do it, we'll make sure that we do it. So we did it. We did it for 4 or 5 more days. And she's coming around. She's coming around to find the husband's like, I have to be honest. I didn't know how long she'd be here. My 2 children are at home. I have to get home to the kids. I said, listen, you're a patient. You're part of the family. I said, we'll take care of her here. So he flew home. Now it's her. She's coming in. We did this for 3.5 more weeks. And in 3.5 more weeks, she completely reversed every sign of disease in her whole body. She's back to better than she was before she ever even had any of the symptoms. And she's got a flight home. And I walk in the room. You guys know how I adjust. I'm back and forth in rooms. And I walk in the room, and she's sobbing. Tears just streaming down her face. Not 1 or 2. Wet. Her face is all wet. And she's got a smile on her face when she looks up. She's not laying down for adjustment. So I walk in the room, and I'm kind of stalled for a second. And she goes, I just got off the phone with my kids. I'm about to see my kids again. She goes, I'm getting on a flight here in a couple hours. I'm going to see my kids. And I give her a big hug. I said, it's so great to meet you. I'm so glad you got the results. And I'm about to leave the room to go get another person adjusted. And she grabs me with a force right on the bones of my wrist. And she keeps me from leaving the room. And she kept a hold of that. She looked me right in the eyes. She goes, I don't think you heard me. She goes, I'm going to see my babies again. I get to see my kids again. And let me tell you something. That happened not because we found the one thing that everybody missed. It didn't happen because those essentials are true, although they are. It didn't even happen because of the spectacular passion that a lady had in the discharge center at Parkland Hospital. It happened from one little barista who only told one person. And she told somebody because it was back pain, and how in the world could she have thought that would have saved a mom where she could see her kids again? So let me tell you something. It takes two things to make this thing happen. Number one, it takes belief. And I hope you got that because you saw people that got results. And if you're sitting here, you've been to very minimum, you're one of those too. Deepen it. Keep on going. Okay? The second thing is it takes involvement. And I know this, every single person here, if you thought that you could save a mom from something like that, every person here, you would get involved, would you not? Yeah? So listen, before you go, and we're done, but I want everybody to get this out. It's in your sack or it's in your packet, one of the two. And I'm going to stay right here until I see those in your hand. So just go like that. Just show it to me. Mike, you got one of those? You got it? So, hey, can you guys get Mike one? Good. Raise your hand if you don't have one of these. Raise your hand if you don't have one. Kathy needs one. Good. Eva, you got one of these? You got one? Good. Bob, Angel, you got one? Good. Excellent. Now, what I want you to do is this. Oftentimes, like at dinner or some of the workshops, I'll have you guys write down 10, 15, 20 names. The sheet has 25 names on it. We're not going to do that today. Now, if you want to flip this over and write more than 5, that's fine. But if every single person in this room writes 5 names down, the chances that we catch the lady who will come in with this type of situation is greater than ever possible. But if you're the one person that goes, hey, I've written some names before, I'm not going to fill one of these out, then you might be the reason that we don't reach that lady. And so before you leave, I want you to start right now. We're going to take just a couple minutes. He's going to put a little bit of music on, and I want you to fill this out. And I want you to make sure your name's on it, because we're not telemarketers. We're not going to call these people and try and sell them something or anything else. We're going to call them when I know that you've called them and let them know. We're going to invite them to a Lose to Win dinner so they can hear what you heard today, so they can get encouraged and they can know what life and health is all about too. So I want you to take your phone out. Everybody take your phone out? If you don't, that's where your phone numbers are, if you didn't know. I know you got your phones because I've seen some of you guys texting already throughout the event. He's running late again. So we're going to take a couple minutes. Now, as you do this, I want you to get all 5 spots filled in. Okay, so all 5 spots need to be filled in. So keep going. I don't want you to turn loose of that, so don't get it out of your hands or put your pen down until all 5 spots are filled up. But then when it is, I want you to pass it to the left. Okay? Now, while you do that, I'm going to talk you through a couple other things. Okay? So 8 years ago, somebody else came in from Parkland. Actually, and knew Jeanette Antonez and a bunch of other people. She came in from Parkland, and she was a nurse. And oftentimes, nurses come in, and they have a very medical way of looking at things. And so sometimes it can be kind of contentious. But it wasn't at all. She came in, she loves Jesus, and I love Jesus. She's got back pain, and it's completely gone. So she comes in, and this radically changed her life. So much, in fact, that she says, listen, it's hard for me to work at Parkland because I'm the head of the ICU unit in Parkland, youngest person ever hired for the position. And she says, it's hard for me to work in this environment and just prolong life or resist death, basically, and not give life what I'm seeing here. She's got a great career. She's got a great new house. She's got all this niceties. She's got a great future ahead of her. And she says, listen, I think God's telling me to do something. And it's extreme, but I need your advice. I think God's telling me to leave my whole career after I've gone to nursing school, after I've gone to college, after I went to high school, after I've gone all the education I'm supposed to get. I think he's telling me to leave all of that and go to chiropractic school. And she says, what do you think? I said, well, I'm not going to speak for God, but if you think he's telling you to go, then maybe you're supposed to go. And God affirms it in about 1 million different ways because she certainly needed that, and she left everything. And when I say that, she left her house. She left all of her niceties. She left a career that was the youngest person ever hired in that position ever. And she went to chiropractic school. And so she was still a patient. She actually, while she was in school and while she was going through, she was so passionate about this, she would drive and get people who could not drive themselves to the office and to workshops and to dinners so they could hear the message, because she just knew their life would be saved if they could just hear it. Then when she graduated, we all celebrated, and we couldn't wait for her to work someplace, and so guess what? We hired her. So we brought her into the office, and she started working. And we knew it was going to be great, because here's the person who's on the fire to save the world with us, right? And we were right. It was a natural fit. It was like having a daughter that is in the office and working hard. And every single day since then, she has worked tirelessly and late and early to make sure that every single one of you have had the greatest experience and the greatest results as a patient. But birds who grow up, who come out of a shell, who grow up getting fed in the nest, eventually what? They eventually have to spread their wings and fly on their own. And so the big announcement for Dr. Becky is that Dr. Becky is going to open her own clinic soon. She actually starts training in Naples, Florida, coming up very soon. So she's going to be with us. She's going to be with us for about another month. We're going to have a big celebration. The recipe night in the office is going to be a celebration of her. Okay? So some of you guys go, well, I've already been to recipe night. There's a whole other reason to come to recipe night. And so don't cry. You're going to make me cry. Why are you going to cry? So just so you know, you're going to have a month to say your highs and appreciations and goodbyes and those things. Although there's never a goodbye from our office. It's always a see you later. But we're hoping that, when she eventually opens office, it'll be somewhere. They're looking at different places from Florida to, so we're hoping it's here in Texas. She's saying it maybe North Dallas here. So point is, she's going to be around hopefully. So I want you to all give her big hugs. But listen, if you've noticed anything, she puts the timelines together. She makes sure that every table is where they should be. She contacts all the people who volunteer. She makes sure everything is lined up perfectly. Every little stitch and every little thing is here. Every little T-shirt gets rolled up perfectly so I can hit you with it. Every little thing is perfect because she did that. So before you leave today, give her a big hug and wish her well while she goes out. And she creates what we did here in even a better way as she spreads her wings and does it herself. Got it? Thank you.
Is it on? I can't believe that you just did that without crying.
I cried practicing.
I cried practicing, listening, and right now in the real moment. I certainly don't have time because you took the extra 20 minutes to give a long speech.
I told you we started 18 minutes late. I'm just going to throw it out there.
But really, everything that he said was completely true, but I'm going to have a chance to hug every one of you individually and talk to you over the next month, so this certainly isn't goodbye. But I wouldn't be able to tell you corporately that I would not even be able to think to go and do what I'm about to do, and I'm actually going to be partnering with Dr. Jaxie, if you don't know her, in the back to do this. Yeah, you can clap for her because she's completely amazing. Completely amazing. But I think I sat down with probably 99% of you in room one, and that's the majority of the reason that you're here today, but completely the reason that I'm here today, because I wouldn't be able to go and take care of thousands of other people had it not been starting with you guys and just seeing where you come and that you're sitting here at this point and your lives are changed and you know how to grocery shop and you're getting off medications. And there's just really nothing better than that for me. So thank you, all of you, because I wouldn't be able to go and do it had I not sat with each one of you individually. But then, most of all, when I started as a patient, just like all of you, and then I graduated chiropractic school. And of course, what you're supposed to do is go open your own practice after that, because that's just, what you do out of chiropractic school. But God told me not to do that right away, but from a biblical foundation, and we won't have a full message right now, but just a small message. And that was he put on my heart really the principle of helping to build another man's dream first, and then he'll supply and build yours even more than you can ever ask or think. So I hope that I've helped your dream come true. I hope I've helped you build your dream.
There's my dream.
Amen. So thank you. I love you.
I love you. still have to finish this. Okay, so, yeah. So last thing I'm going to leave with that, and like us on Facebook, is you are the average of the 5 people that you're around. My magic ball to see what you look like in a year or 5 is the people that you're around. Those people that you wrote on that card right there, hopefully they're the closest people around you, because they either eat a certain way, they either live a certain way. And I can tell you, it can be kind of rough if everybody that you're around is sicker, more broke, more depressed than you are. It might be a rough road ahead. I'm not saying ditch those friends. I'm just saying bring them up. Got it? And give them some of these principles. Let's do this. If you would, just bow your head. Let's pray it up. We're about to have a big, power-packed month. So, God, we just thank you for today. We thank you for the opportunity that we come together. And we ask, God, that you bless every single person here. That we know that the lives that are touched by what was said today and learned and revealed today, Father, doesn't just touch the lives that are having heartbeats in this room, but the ones that have souls that are outside of this building. We ask, God, that you just bless us in such a way that we're examples of the power that you put in each of us, that you blessed us to run a race perfect for you and a purpose, Father, that glorifies your name. And I ask, God, that as we leave this place, that you anoint the steps of every single person, that as we take great God-sized steps, or we take small steps towards you, that you take great God-sized steps towards us. So, Father, we love you. We praise you. Ask a blessing on everything that was done today that glorifies you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, everybody. Have a great month. Guests, we will see you in the office. Big round of applause. Make sure you give Dr. Beck some hugs.